Hello everybody, and welcome to part 30 of Let's Play Sid Meier's Civilization 6. We made it all the way to 30 parts of me doing these things. Right now I'm checking to make sure that if I chop that forest, the yield will go to Rowan, and I didn't mean to do that. No, stop. No, I didn't mean to. Jeez. Ugh. Hit the escape key, hit the mute key on accident. What a great way to open up our 30th part, you know. What a proud milestone. Anyway. So, I realized that the last few parts have gone on for kind of a long time, and I don't know if I should build these sewers, because, the government that I would like to... Wrong tree. The government I would like to go for is, democracy, which has it's to build 4 sewers is the inspiration for that, but I might just kind of skip that and go with communism, because we'll need the military policies to take over the East. You know, we're getting to the point where there are actually good military policies you want in all the time, so it might be nice to have communism's extra military policies. And, like, honestly, building 4 sewers just doesn't seem like a great idea to me. We're going to build a monument, though, because you do need to build your monuments. They are a fantastic source of culture, available almost anywhere. And just look at how this tank corps can move across the map as if there was literally nothing there. Let's check the combat strength of enemy cities. 70. So we could, like, land, just cross over and hit Berlin, maybe. Oh, Aachen. Aachen is the capital, though. Interesting to consider. We might want to send a settler over and settle a city here as a base of operations. Or we might just want to skip that entirely and just conquer stuff. Also, let's see, can we make peace with Teddy? Will you give me money? Make this more equitable. Well, he's smart. He's smart enough to not pay me to end a war that's not costing either of us anything, so good for Teddy, I guess. I'm going to take this cavalry, and I'm going to put him here, so we can get that army formed. The Ghost Death Corps, should maybe want to make that into an army at some point. Where could I possibly... Building cavalry in Warsaw, I was going to build, perhaps, a field cannon there, but oh, I have a field cannon right here. So I think I could do that instead to get my field cannon army. And I can just send them across the Great Big Sea. I don't have a harbor in Warsaw, so I can't get visibility by sending trade routes across the Great Ocean, but that's fine. I'm not worried too much about it. Anyway, so yeah, it's part 30, and since we don't want this to drag on for 30 minutes, I have put the episode timer back. So these parts will not... So I'll have to be a little more focused to make sure that things don't just go so horribly over time. And is this an army of cavalry? Yes, it is. That's good. Do I have any more cavalry corps? I think I do have one more, right? No, I don't. So, cavalry I'm working on in Warsaw is actually not necessary. Let's perhaps build a naval unit, then. Are there any naval units that could be useful? Bombards from battleships? I don't know if we have battleships. I don't think we do. Ironclad, some melee units, not help. We do have battleships, actually. 70 ranged combat strength, huh? Let's see if we have any, tanks that we could see if we have any tanks that, geez, gosh darn it. I don't need to actually find a tank to click on, I can just click on any unit. Let's look for tanks that we can use, turn into armies, if we have the option. We have the Flying Riders, that's a corps, the Great Foxes, that's a corps. Oh, and now they've got to drag them home. That's a bit of a pain, but whatever. And we need to build a tank. And we might want to build... We need to build tanks to get tank armies. So we're going to change production, actually. And we're going to go and build tanks. And we should probably build a naval unit somewhere. But, you know what? I don't know. I mean, I'm producing a zoo in Marseille. That's good. That's going to help with some of our amenity problems. Do we have any trade routes higher than 3 production? I don't think we... Oh, Paris. That's higher than 3 production trade route. Okay, then. We'll do that. I don't know how many turns that shaved off the zoo. But, 4 hammers. Not bad. You should really probably focus all these trade routes in a single city. Fuse deal. I don't want to give you all those advantages for just a little bit of gold. And next turn we can go towards our class struggle and get ourselves some good old communism, The forced distribution of wealth, and they seem to have increased the combat strength of their cities in Nubia. That makes that slightly more difficult. So we'll maybe have to go after Germany. And again, we could always start a home base, so to speak. Tanks are modern era, so chivalry is not helpful to us. Let's see, what would be helpful to us? Not upgrading units. Logistics is not super useful in our current situation. Because we are, moving units around, but not in a big rush, and a lot of them are mounted, so they don't need extra movement, really. We could go with one of the diplomatic policies, perhaps. Let's see. How many... We do have quite a few... envoys out. So Merchant Confederation, which is 1 gold for every... How does Buenos Aires want me to do that, by the way? Merchant Republic, which... Merchant Confederation, whatever. There's a card that gives you 1 gold for every envoy you have with a city-state, so that might be useful to have. Alright, then. So, let's see. In terms of technologies, how strong is an infantry? 70 strength, huh? Interesting. Where are missiles? What could I do for missiles? Maybe I should just go for rocketry, though, to be honest, and, see if I can win a space victory for expedience sake. I mean, I'll still be, sending people out to dominate the other landmass, but you know what I mean. Would be faster, and I might win it earlier if I go with the rocketry. Scheuer. There's one unit, the missile cruiser. Where's that? That's a very good unit. That's lasers. And you have a bunch of techs you need to boost exclusively through great scientists or spies in order to use that. We could go for modern armors. That might help our... it might help, actually, with conquering, if we were to do that. What are the other techs? Satellites, robotics, and nuclear fusion, nanotechnology. We could go for rocketry, because the spaceport is rather expensive. We are not going to build 3 musketmen, so it wouldn't hurt us too much to go for replaceable parts. We are still going to build 4 privateers, though, and power plant would be pretty nice. We could honestly build some extra musketmen, just because those musketmen could form armies or something. But to be honest, I don't see the point in going and making, a ground unit force when we could just keep with our tanks. And let's see what we got here. Cold War. Nah, let's go for communism. Let's get ourselves some good old-fashioned communism in here. Alright. Never failed a large empire before communism, And let's see here, what else is... What should our last policy slot be? Doesn't even matter that much. Police state. There's a policy which is police state, but without the downside. I don't think you need to unlock it. I think it's a dead-end civic, though, that gives you that. We're not suzerain of a lot, I don't think. Just 3, so... Yeah, let's not go with Raj. We're really not... We could use Machiavellianism to help out with our spies. Well, let's just look for something that'll help out with our science. How are we doing on... How are great scientists working? Erwin Schrödinger is the current head great scientist. Jeez, Nubia and Germany, well, far below our 33 great scientist points per turn, are still not, as far back as I'd like them to be. Huh. Well, we could just put in the increased production cost for settlers and get out some settlers. Maybe. I'm not sure. That's what I'm considering, though. Because what would I do with settlers? I would just send them over, right? But I could also and just have a city ready to land at. Germany has a cavalry. So I guess I could settle something like here and send a trade route to Aachen. And I don't know. That might count as okay, I guess. I don't... Not quite sure what I would do. It would only be one settler anyway, really, so I don't really need to do that. I could put a settler here, too. So, you know, on this little peninsula. I could put settlers all over the place, but I'm sure I have aluminum in my empire, and I don't need that tile, right? Do I? I can check up here for aluminum to see my resources. I keep forgetting that. Oil, niter, iron, horses, coal. Do we have the technology that discovers aluminum? Radio. Yes. So we don't have any improved sources of aluminum, apparently. But I can see some aluminum right there. Oh, you know what we could go for? Some public works. That might actually be beneficial to us. Because we will want to be hooking stuff up. Like that aluminum. If I put my entertainment complex there, I think it would already be hooked up, but whatever. So, yeah. Let's just go ahead and put in public works, because that'll be okay. So, Rio, what are you going to do? Could you perhaps build a zoo? And again, really should have your trade routes. I should probably have my trade routes coming all out of one city to maximize the production benefit that's being given. Research lab, that's a lot of science. Factory is going to extend production to a few cities, though, so I'm going to go with that. Here in Uric, you probably will need a granary. That seems like it would be pretty nice. I don't think it has really good production. Not really. We'll just go with a granary. I don't know what other district we'll put down, but it'll be nice to have a district. Alright. So we're going to come over here, and can we form a cavalry army? Oh. Yes, we can. Very good. I guess we just have to move both of them or something. Not sure. And in Rowan, we will resume work on a commercial hub. We will have this man here. See if he can form an army with this man here. That's good. That's 77 ranged combat strength. That's not even really a match for the German cities. But we'll send some kind of boat over there eventually at some point, you know. Wroclaw. Amenity issues in Halab, Warsaw, and Krakow. So we might want to build ourselves a zoo. I don't think we're going to be producing any units in reasonable time. We don't have a good district project, really. So, yeah, let's go with a zoo. And this here. Tank, he can wait here. And wait for Warsaw to get himself a tank that he can upgrade with. Oh, wait. You know what I should be building in Wroclaw instead? I should be taking advantage of public works. And building a builder. And I should put this here, cavalry army over here. He'd be sort of useful. I guess I could send him across the land and see what's going on over there in the German places. This artillery army, I can send him over here. This cavalry corps. Oh, he must have been the one that other cavalry was for. What? I do have another cavalry, right? I don't... Jeez. My head is getting wrapped up in itself, and I am confused. Cavalry army. Cavalry corps. Cavalry army. Alright, so whatever. I'm not super concerned about having that cavalry corps made into a cavalry army, though, on account of the fact that it's not that strong compared to the German cities. Really, maybe we should start embarking across, but I feel like I would need at least one naval unit, since Germany could, you know, send stuff across and sink my units while they're crossing. Let's see if we can make peace with them. Yeah, let's make peace. And we'll send something or other over in order to, like, establish a base that we can use against Germany. It shouldn't be too hard. We should be able to get a settler out of somewhere. And this guy here, he can go down to Halab to improve me the wine and the stuff. This trader out in Uruk, let's send it to somewhere that's a little more high priority. Let's send that trader over to Warsaw. That's working on its tank, and we'll probably be working on a naval unit eventually. Let's see here. We could try to steal a tech boost. We have a 63% chance of success, but only a 1 in 10 chance of failure. That's actually pretty high, but we're going to roll with it anyway. What is the worst that could happen? The worst that could happen is our spy is captured or killed, and we take a huge diplomatic hit with Nubia, and that'd be just generally bad all around. Let's see how tourism is doing, though. We don't want someone to sneak a tourism victory out from under our nose. It's one of those things that you can forget about really easily. For all these great works, they want to offer me just teensy-weensy bits of gold. For as heavily as the AI values great works, they do not want to pay a cent to get one from you. Mind you, Frederick might also just hate us. That's another pretty reasonable thing. I don't think anyone's at risk of being overcome with tourism at this point. So I think that's good. That sounds good. Trade route to Paris, providing a lovely for production. We're going to keep going with that. Alright, and Krakow can start building buildings in its campus. That's it. Start building campus buildings. But I'm thinking I might want to build a harbor building stuff instead. It might be nice to wait until class struggle and class struggle is done, and we could instead put in the bonus production towards naval units or something, and just, take advantage of that. 5 hammers. 5 turns? Not 5 hammers. Nah, not worth it. Cairo could chop some forests for that stuff. Where could we build a builder? Do we need a lot of extra builders? Oh, look. There's the episode timer. I'm going to turn that... Oh! Got a little close to the microphone there. I'm going to turn the episode timer off. I'm going to see if we can't build a builder relatively fast in one of these conquered cities. What's that? 5 turns? Too long. 4 turns? Not bad. What about Paris? 3 turns? I'll take it. And we're going to move our units up to the coast. There's a French great scientist, Alan Turing. We don't really need that dude. Oh yeah. Oh my, there's more builders here than I thought. I'm gonna send this dude over here. Really should be working on extra settlers. There's a lot of good spots, but I don't know if the cities will be all that useful, though, because at this point our districts are quite expensive. Let's see here. In Medina, what could we do? We could finish a builder. What a convenient opportunity. And, yeah, we'll work over. And, Rowan's working on a commercial hub. That's not the most important thing in the world. Tanks are the most important thing in the world. So, with all of this, I think I'm going to call it an episode. And in the next episode, we are going to probably not have this tank finished, because that's a lot of turns. But we're going to, we're going to seize the means of production. All the industrial zones we've been building, we are going to seize them from ourselves and use our worker charges to do things. And we're going to build naval units fast in order to help us take over all of the world. If failing that, we can always just try going into space. So, I hope you enjoyed the episode and that you've been enjoying the series so far. I hope you'll stop by again next time, and I will see you all next episode.